Everybody has an opinion these days, but you know what? I love it. As fans of the game, it keeps our minds active as we ask ourselves the question, how in the world can someone say something so outrageous? Take John Hollinger, for example. In the 2022 season, not only did he predict the Warriors wouldn't win the championship, he predicted they'd be 9th in the Western Conference. Then, shortly after that Hollinger take, Kendrick Perkins on ESPN's First Take went on air and said that Steph Curry will not be in the discussion for a championship in the next 4 years. If you ask me, there really needs to be some kind of statistics for these online analysis on how much takes they get right and how much they get wrong. Anyway, I love a good hot take. And today, I want to go over some Golden State Warriors hot takes that I found online. The first one goes, Draymond loses his starting job as he declines further and he's not re-signed. Sheesh, guys. This one is a big one. First off, let's go over the facts. In 2022, Draymond played in a total of 46 games out of 82 and had a back injury which kept him out for about 2 months. Then in the playoffs, although he did start and play all 22 games, he only averaged 32 minutes, 8 points, and 7.2 rebounds per game, which is the lowest in any of his finals runs. And then after that, for the cherry on top, he asked for a max extension of $164 million. What a guy. All right, so back to the take. There's 2 parts to this one, so I'll start with the first. Draymond definitely is in a decline physically. I mean, no one escapes from Father Time, and the defensive role he plays against larger players doesn't help either. However, in saying that, in 2023, I don't believe any other Warrior can play Draymond's role better than he does. His basketball IQ and competitiveness are the heart and soul of the Warriors, and while he will eventually lose his starting job, it won't be in 2023. Now, as for whether or not he'll re-sign, let's look at this objectively. After the next season, Draymond will be 33 years old, and if he declines further, who's going to want to pay him a 4-year max contract? Especially when you consider that he'll be 36 and 37 in the last 2 years of that contract. Draymond's biggest payday is still with the Warriors, and although I don't think he'll get the max in all likelihood, he'll get re-signed by the Warriors. Next off, we have Kuminga is going to be Kawhi Leonard. Man, if Kuminga can play like how a second-year Kawhi played, then it's game over for the league. And the scary thing about it is, there's really only about 3 things he needs to develop. 1, a consistent 3-point shot when he's open. 2, a mid-post game. And 3, becoming a better on-ball defender. And here's the thing. The Warriors have one of the best developmental programs in the entire league, and with Steph and Klay leading the team by example, there's no reason why Kuminga can't become similar to a second-year Kawhi. If y'all think there's too much of a gap, that Kuminga is too raw, just remember, in Kawhi's last year in college, he shot 44% from the field and 29% from three-point range. Then, in his first year in the league, he improved those to about 49% and 38%. Kuminga's gonna be a beast coming off the bench in 2023. And yeah, I expect him to have a similar production like a second-year Kawhi. Next off, we have a take on Wiseman, and it goes like, James Wiseman is gonna have a stretch where he looks like a monster, then he'll have a bad game, and people are gonna freak out. Alright, so I'm really high on James Wiseman for several reasons. Number 1 being that he has really good work ethic. Number 2 being that he's arguably the most athletic center in the league. And number 3 being that he's part of one of the best, if not the best, developmental programs in the NBA. For the first 20 or 30 games, Wiseman will have some growing pains. I mean, he hasn't played much organized basketball for at least a year, and although he's training like a madman, nothing but in-game experience can prepare you for an actual NBA-level game. After he gets accustomed to his role, however, he's going to excel. He'll have a stretch where he'll score like 25 to 30 points against probably non-playoff teams. Then, when he's up against the elite teams in the league, he'll have a few mediocre games, and because we're all prisoners of the moment, people will start freaking out. No need to worry though, because these are expected. When the playoffs arrive, expect to see Wiseman who knows his role and plays within it. The next take here is on Steph Curry, and the take here is that he'll hoist his third MVP trophy. Okay, so although Steph is the best player in the league, I don't think he'll win an MVP trophy in 2023, and here's why. The Warriors are aiming for a championship and building a dynasty. So, during the regular season, Steve Kerr's focus is going to be on developing the younger players and giving them more on-court time because, well, they're the future of the Warriors. One of the unfortunate consequences of that is Steph Curry won't be producing as much during the regular season. At the same time, you'll have someone like Luka Doncic, a younger superstar, who will have a good chance of averaging a 30-point triple-double and carry his team to a top 4 seed in the West. During the regular season, he'll probably be the talk going around the league, and since the MVP is decided by a panel of sports writers and broadcasters, I believe the award will go to someone who's able to put up ridiculous numbers instead of the actual most valuable player. I do think, however, that the Warriors will win the 2023 championship, and Steph Curry will hoist his second Finals MVP trophy. Next off, we have the take that goes, Divincenzo is going to make people say, GP who? Man, although I think Divincenzo is the perfect player to fill the hole left by Gary Payton II, I don't think we can ever forget what GP2 did on the court. As a role player, he electrified the audience like I've never seen before. I mean, when was the last time you've seen a role player consistently do things like this?
Comes away with the rebound quickly, up to Payton. Oh! Do it!
Full court. Is it because, nice steal, there's Payton. And Gary Payton throws.
Sheesh, guys. Divincenzo is a great pickup for the Warriors, but I'm never going to forget the commentator saying that when you're around GP2, dribble at your own risk. Warriors fans will always remember the young glove. Next off, we have a take on the other Splash brother, which goes, Klay Thompson is going to have a revenge tour. He's going to average 22 and get back to the All-Star game. This is definitely going to happen. I mean, after a 2-year hiatus, Klay came in and averaged about 20 points on 38.5% shooting from three-point range and 90% at the free throw line. This was without training camp, this was without developing chemistry with his new teammates, and this was after not playing an NBA game for 941 days. With a full offseason to get his legs back to 100% and a full training camp to gel with his teammates, I expect Klay to average about 42% from beyond the arc and about 22 points per game. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder too as well for being snubbed off the 75-year NBA anniversary list. And when Klay plays in the All-Star game, I expect him to dress a little like this guy. Last off here, we have this take. The media is going to start hating us again for ruining basketball. I've been saying this for a long time, but once Kuminga and Wiseman start developing, which they will in 2023, the Warriors are going to completely dominate the NBA. I mean, the combo of Steph, Klay, Draymond, Wiggins, and Looney is an elite championship level starting five that tore through the recent playoffs. Then you have Jordan Poole, who will be playing exactly like how a 2015 version of Steph plays. And then now you add James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga, who are both arguably in the top 10 when it comes to the most athletic players in the league. Sheesh, guys. Teams won't have a chance to rest with the type of firepower that the Warriors could throw at them. And yeah, at that point in time, people like Chris Broussard, Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith will all be singing the same song, that the Warriors have once again ruined basketball.